So you're like me, and the clamping mechanism on your E46 convertible has fallen apart. I'm going to assume you've gotten here because you've already gotten the cover off of the clamping mechanism on the top of the convertible, and you've tried the JB Weld trick, and it worked just as well for you as it did for me, meaning it didn't hold at all, or the pieces of your plastic shattered into unglueable little shards. So then what you did is you went ahead and you went to eBay and you bought one of these little kits. Well, I'm going to put a little video together on how I replaced mine, and maybe it'll help somebody else out. First thing you're going to want to do is take out these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a T30. You take those off, and then you'll want to disconnect this little cable here from this worm gear, and it just pops right off. So we'll get to that. There. Loose. This side. And this one. All right, maybe that stays there. First thing you want to do is take out these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's T30. Take those off, and then you want to disconnect this little cable here from the worm gear, and it just pops right off. So we'll do that. Oh, look, another piece of plastic. Mine just shattered, and there's no getting it. The JB Weld just wasn't going to hold. Okay, so this will pop up. We got to get this off first, and it just... Yep, there we go. Pops right off there. Just kind of move that out of the way. And now, this will lift up. So, the first step is to remove the snap ring that holds the bearing right here on the worm gear. I did this with a little hook tool, and then went and bought a snap ring wrench to replace the one I had later. So much easier that way, and less risk of your snap ring flying across the garage. Hopefully get this out without popping across the garage. Try these. They're hard. One's hard in there. This is the first name of the rest. Can't see shit. There we go. Okay. So this is coming out. There we go. So pop the little worm gear right out of here, and then you can either break it out or spin it, but don't throw this away because it's important later. Let's see. So first, before you break it all the way, I'm going to turn this little gear out. Turn. Almost. Oh shit, they're the wrong way. Going the wrong way. Okay. This is off, and you gotta save, oh crap. You gotta save this because it's important. I'll show you with the other one. This is, I'm gonna have to dig in here and find the piece, but this is, the way it is broken, it's missing an important piece to it. So Okay. On this clamping mechanism here, we've taken the screws out and we've disconnected the worm gear. But if we look, this, I don't know what this is called, a cam maybe? But it's attached to the plastic, and the plastic is mounted through the other side. So we've got whatever this metal piece is called attached to the piece of plastic, which, hey look, remnants of JB Weld that didn't work, a washer, and then another little plastic piece that looks like this. This is part of the new one. And it is held together on the underside. We lift this up. Underneath here, right there, is a little T15. So we're going to unscrew that and then take the whole thing apart and then put a new one in. It's not very tight. And I really don't want to lose this. The one that the kit comes with, it's got a much longer screw than the one. This is very small. It's a short one, if you can see there. And the one that comes with the kit is about 3 times this long. And I don't know that it's necessary. So now that we've got that off, we can pop this out. And there's a little, so here's the old one. It looks fine. And then there's a black washer. Right, and there's also, when you have to save a bearing here that goes around the little spindle that fits through, so we need to save that. Almost. There we go. So it pulls out. There is a little holder that goes on this end, and it fits right under this little roller here. And this thing fits under this roller and over this roller, and you need to save this little bearing. And this is the old piece, and it's trash. So what we'll do is replace it with a new piece. Put this bearing on here. I'm just going to reuse the washer that was there. I am going to use my new plastic because, well, the old plastic went to shit, didn't it? So I'm just going to insert this back in here. I've got this on here. Pop this up and put it through. Hey, look at that. It's harder to see now because, well, the plastic's intact. And fit this into the hole of this little thing here. So this is back up through the bottom. And now I'm going to reuse that original little T15. I don't know if I should put new thread locker on there or not. I don't really have any. Okay. All right, skip ahead. I got that back in there after dropping the screw. It didn't fall all the way down in there, but I was very lucky. It just kind of landed right there. But anyway, so now I got that back in there, and you got to make sure you've got your little worm gear out of the way before you tighten it up all the way, or else you'll have to loosen it and then reposition this. Now this is just positioned right at the entrance of this. I've got some white lithium grease to help it go through there, because it's honestly really kind of tight. So I'm going to, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to take an Allen wrench and work it through. I'm going to work it through the, I'm going to work it through this part. And then when I get through there, I've got it lubed up a little bit here. This is actually the hardest part. And then I'll help this, I'll tap this back into the housing and put the ring gear back on. So this is, if you notice there's a little place for your hex key. Goes right in there. And I'm going to do this until I can get it. I'll go all the way through and stick out through here. I want this to come even and be flush with this. I've loosened the nut on the back of the clamp here. I loosened that T15 up a little bit so I could get a little more travel here easily. And when I get this through, I'll tighten it up again. I mean, I'll loosen it maybe a half a turn, and then I'll tighten it up. Oops. I'll tighten it up again when it's time to get it. Everything all snap back together. So for now, me and quarter turns with a hex key. Fun. Okay, so I got this line back up, a few turns, and then when it gets close, just a few little taps with a persuader, and that'll get it to where this piece is back to flush. And then we can use the Allen wrench to turn this and get it back to the same position that the one on the other side is. So, yeah, so that's how you do it. And then we just, the last thing to do will be to attempt to get this little ring gear, or no, little, I don't know what this is, like a little ring clamp, and it fits right back in here, like so. But you got to compress it to get in there, and then it'll pop and stay. I'm not going to show you how to do that because I'll fail at it for the first 3 or 4 times. There's one more thing that's important that you need to know, and let me stop and get to the other side of the car real quick. Okay, all right, here's the other side that I've already done, and this is the lithium grease on here, which may have been a mistake. I used dielectric grease on the other side over there, and it seemed to go in much faster. Maybe this thing wasn't, maybe this plastic wasn't machined as well, but this one seemed a lot tighter than that one did. So what's important is you got to save this is the piece from the old one, and you got to save this, because inside here, and this little notch right here, there's a little rectangle of steel, some type of metal, okay? And you've got to, I don't know, Dremel it out of there, cut it out. I clamped mine into the bench vise and then Dremeled around it and then just took it out. It's basically, I don't know, 2 millimeters square, and it fits back into this one. This is the new one, and it has a little slot to stick that thing back in there. I had to Dremel out the plastic a little bit so it would fit, but I made it really tight, and then I just kind of tapped it in with a hammer in the vise. There are sensors down here, and I believe when this little piece here travels over it, it detects where this block is in the closing mechanism. So I unfortunately snapped off the other little sensor over here. So, but this whole thing's for sale for $111. So it's going to be super glue, and it's just a little tab that broke off there. So it's just going to get glued back there. So that's it. Nothing left but to button this up and hope to hell it works.